Hi, this is Amanda Kate, author of Divine Messy Human and Kinesiologist and Coach. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine podcast with my incredible friend, Scott Ferguson. He is fabulous and we love the work he's bringing into the world. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and are you ready to be a divine, messy human? Then let me introduce you to my really good friend, my Aussie, over there in Australia, Amanda Kate. She's a coach, author, kinesiologist. She's an overall rock star, and she really comes from the heart, and that's what I really love about Amanda. She's not all fluff and foo-foo. She's down, real, will get dirty, but also help you get to that level to help you live the life that you were put on this earth to do. Such a fantastic conversation. We got deep in some areas, and some areas were just fun. So if you like the episode, please hit the like button, share it, subscribe, all that other jazz, because it really helps out with my sponsors and affiliates. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Amanda Kate. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got my awesome sauce Aussie from Down Under. It's early in the morning tomorrow for her, but I got my good friend, rock star coach, Amanda Kate from Amanda Kate Kinesiology and Coaching. Amanda is an awesome, fantastic author, kinesiologist, archetypal life coach, spiritual seeker, mentor, mother, and so much more. She's a recovering people pleaser like myself, and self-flagellator, trying to make the world a better place and help people tune into their divine inner wisdom and tune out the loud external influences that take us off of our path. Now, she has an awesome book. You have to listen to the end for the free book giveaway. It's called Divine Messy Human, but off camera, she says there's another title, which I can't really talk about it here, which is a fantastic book where she really talks about that we develop, inherit, embody messiness, the beliefs and program that do not serve our divinity, but create our individuality. And thank you so much, Amanda, for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Do you know that changes daily?
Nice.
Today it's blue. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love that you said it changes daily, because
Yeah.
moods can kind of take you places and stuff. That's why I always say purple when it's for me, because it's like a red and a blue. Trust me, I can get red if I need to, but mostly I'm just chilling out with the blue. And purple's regal and royal. So I like that too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you. Let's get to kind of the roots of, maybe just metaphorically messy life in a sense, and what you're doing to really help people, level up.
Yeah. For me, I don't think anybody finds the kind of path we're walking unless they've been through some stuff. So, for me, it was, I was always sort of in that good girl mode where I was looking after everybody, making sure that I was ticking all the boxes for the good life. I got good grades at school. I didn't act up too much. I towed the line that my parents expected me to tow. And in a lot of ways, it was, I guess, restrictive, because there was just the expectation of performance. And, went to university, went traveling with my sister, met a man, got married, 2 kids. We did the traveling. And I'd moved from Adelaide. I never actually came back from traveling. I lived in the UK for about 11 years and have just ticked over 11 years in Melbourne as well. So still consider myself a bit of a gypsy. But in that move, I was over the other side of the world from my family and in quite a toxic relationship. And it took its toll on my health, on my life. I really, really struggled. I think by the time we moved back to Australia, for me anyway, it seemed like that bit of a last-ditch attempt to actually try and save the marriage in so many ways. And by the beginning of 2013, I was needing 3-hour naps in the afternoon to get through the day. And this is coming from a woman who was self-starting, motivated, loved life, always active. And I started going downhill, and I didn't even get it looked at then. I just, wrote it down to a couple of tough years and needing a little bit of time and whatever else. But it started getting worse and worse. And eventually I was getting blood tests and the doctors are like, you're the healthiest sick person we've seen. Like, I don't know what's going on. Your bloods are fine. And I kind of was going, something's not quite right here. And one thing led to another, and I ended up seeing a naturopath and starting down that natural healing route.
Absolutely.
And started getting a few answers. And then it got to a point where I honestly thought I was just a broken shell of a human being. I thought that I was not even really worth being here. My ex-husband would tell me all of the things that was not right with me, that I wasn't doing right, that I wasn't achieving enough, all of those sorts of things. Sure. And that I felt broken. So I went to the doctor, got a mental health care plan because, of course, I was the one that needed to be fixed. Sure. And rang the psychologist, knowing that she did mindfulness and assertiveness training and worked in a much more holistic way. And the receptionist there said, look, we can't get you in for another month with the psychologist, and her next mindfulness course doesn't start till the end of the month. Do you want to see a kinesiologist? And I went, you know what? I'm willing to try anything.
Wow.
And yeah, she was the first person, the receptionist at the psychology place was the first person who asked me about my support structures. She said, who's got your back? And I just burst into tears because I was like, nobody's got my back. I'm doing this on my own. I am the one holding up the house of cards and I'm crumbling and the house of cards is falling. But that first session of kinesiology just changed my life. She said, you have no idea how emotionally abused you are, do you? And I was like, I don't understand. Tell me more.
Right.
And I could see it in a number of relationships, but I didn't see it in my marriage for another 4 months. And then it took me another 4 months or so to leave. So, but within 6 months of that session, I was studying kinesiology and it just changed my life. And that led then to a whole bunch of other natural therapies that I tried. And eventually a whole bunch of them in different modalities said, you've got chronic fatigue. And that's where all of that stuff back in 2013, 3 years before, had all started. They said that's why you don't recover from your exercise the same way. That's why you struggle to get through the day. That's why even though you're exhausted, you can't sleep, because I was in that adrenal state of being wired and tired where I was, on this. It's like you're on caffeine, you can't quite sleep. It's such a bizarre feeling. It's like that burnout feeling.
Right. So real quick, though, I'm going to interject.
All of a sudden, everything started just coming together.
Kinesiology is movement of the body, correct?
It is, but in our kinesiology, it's slightly different. We look at movement of energy through the body. So we are looking at the energetic impulses and the emotional resonances that are stuck in the body, and we shift them out vibrationally. So we are looking at the way the body moves, but we're also looking at the fact that quantum physicists have proven the universe is 4% physical matter.
Sure.
And so when you look at this human meat suit that we're walking around in, that's 4% of the picture. So what's the other 96%?
Love it.
And the problem for me was that doctors were looking at this 4%. For me now, when I work with clients, we're looking at the mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relational, sexual, like all of those different aspects of self that tie in to make us who we are. It's not just looking at the physical, it's all of it.
So with kinesiology, it saved you, but what was the spark that said, hey, I'm going to do this to help others and save them or help them level up or help push them into their utmost human potential?
It was the fact that within those first 6 months, even though I was still in my marriage and it was toxic as hell, I had made groundbreaking awarenesses and shifts within myself.
Nice. Yeah.
And I started to feel like I was getting an understanding of what took me to where I was, what got me that low. And I'd started climbing out of that really low pit. Now, for a couple of years there, I swear I was sort of bouncing along the bottom and I'd find new levels of, rock bottom.
Sure.
But this was one of those things that yes, I was bouncing along and finding new rock bottoms. And also at the same time, I was building this awareness of what was going on. I was finding these tools that could help me as I was bouncing along so that I was slightly less bruised and battered than I would
Yeah.
have been had I not had it. It was this beautiful support. And because it's done in such an energetic way, you feel held.
Mm.
It's a really nurturing, nourishing. You don't have 15 minutes in and then they're kicking you out onto the next one. It is an
Right.
hour session. It is a decent amount of time so you can say what you're going through. And then you're setting goals for yourself and getting on the table and seeing what is standing between you and the achievement of that goal.
I love it. I love it. So do you work with a lot of one-on-one clients then, Amanda? Okay.
I do.
Let's get into that, the discovery part where we maybe just meeting each other. Is there any secret sauce, for lack of a better term? And also, if you don't mind sharing, that maybe you help them identify that blind spot?
Oh, 100%. Because I'm not just listening to what they're saying to me. I'm listening to what they're not saying. I'm watching their body language. I'm picking up on the types of words they're using. And so even yesterday, for example, had a client in who's having issues in relationships, and there were just a few key words there that I'm going, this is ancient childhood stuff.
Yes.
This is old stuff. And it really, and even for those people, you know, when I have mothers come in, for example, and they're putting themselves last, and you can hear it in their languaging. You can hear that they don't think they're as important as everybody else in their life. And I hear it very clearly in that one because that's my downfall. That's my people pleasing aspect that comes through, in that I am not a priority. And you can hear that sort of stuff. I've had other clients who were in similar situations to me where they have no idea that they're in abusive relationships because it's their normal.
Right.
And I can see those patterns.
Right.
And it's finding the ways to ask the questions because they have all those answers within them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge believer that the person that I'm coaching, whatever issues or problems they have the answer within them as well. And my job as a coach, what I love to do is help them find it on their own through my help. And because I believe that if I tell somebody, I become a consultant and I tell somebody what to do, they're going to say, oh, Fergie, man, he sucks because it didn't work. But if they say they come up with it, they're going to see it through to the end, which leads me to a question with you is, you know, coaching and therapy are kind of two different things. Obviously, you know that. But do you find therapy comes up because of how deep that you go with your clients? Like, and how do you handle that as a coach and not so much a licensed therapist? Like, how do you handle that? I'm super intrigued because I'm learning right now.
Yeah. So again, we have our scope of practice. So I don't consider myself a therapist.
Right.
To me, therapists work on symptoms. Therapists see your symptoms and they want to get rid of the symptoms. They're not looking for the root cause.
Right.
I want to know what caused you to have those symptoms. So you having inflammation in your body, I don't want to get rid of the inflammation because the inflammation is telling me that something else is going on and the body is putting this padding in to protect itself. So what are you protecting yourself from? And that's where we use the emotional side of kinesiology to dig deep, find out when it was put there, why it was put there, what emotion got it stuck, and what stories you're telling yourself around it. And then change that vibration. And even sometimes you get the emotion that's stuck in the body.
Sure.
And it will create a huge shift just because they understand what was there.
I love how you just explained that. You know, you don't want to so much take away from things that are wrong with you because they're giving us clues on how we can help you level up. That's awesome. So let's go back. You're still kind of in a discovery period with a prospective client to be. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you during this period but never do?
No, to be honest, I have this innate trust that things unfold the way they are exactly supposed to unfold. People
Okay.
come to me for a reason. They come to me over other people for a reason, the same way that your clients go to you over other people for a different reason. Now, there are also clients, and well, pretty much everyone actually, that I say, kinesiology on its own is not going to get you where you want to go. Coaching on its own is not going to get you where you need to go. We do need to look at different modalities that tie together and look at you in different perspectives to be able to get you to that state of healing that you want to be in. So I love working with people who are going to see naturopaths or hypnotherapists or acupuncturists or other coaches and other healers, because one person is not going to be able to facilitate all of the healing that you need. I speak my own language. And so it's like your body is giving you messages in Russian and French and,
Right.
Italian,
Yeah.
and you only speak English or
Right.
whatever it is. And
Right.
so, I might be the one who can translate the Russian, and you might be the one who can translate the French, and somebody else might be the one who can translate the Italian, so that you're understanding what's going on under the surface.
Beautiful. I love that. I love it. So, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Oh God, years and years ago. I
I'm
couldn't say
50,
that I remember
so
much of it.
I was a young man when that came out. So let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Amanda.
Yeah.
What kind of knowledge nuggets? Not so much to change anything, because the
Yes.
journey is the journey. But what knowledge nuggets might you drop on her that maybe help her shorten her learning curve, level up, or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker?
Do you know, for me, I would have avoided most of the trauma in my life because I had the intuition. I heard the intuition. I did not trust it, and I did not act on it.
Right.
But every single piece of intuition I ever got turned out to be
real,
100% true.
Love it.
And yet, because of that external influence, I didn't trust myself that I was reading that intuition, because my intuition was not going the way that patriarchal society wanted me to go. It was going in this, completely different way. It was for me to trust that spiritual side of myself in my own spiritual way, not the church way that I was brought up in. It was for me to understand my own connection to God, my own connection to the universe, my own connection to that which is greater. And if I had trusted it and acted on it, my life would have been completely different.
I love it. I love that you're transparent with that, and the lessons that you can learn on, like really trusting your gut, and that intuition. If you're not sure about something, seek out people that maybe have walked your path or walking your path or a professional. And I call it getting your asking gear. Ask, and find out. I love it. So how do you want Amanda's dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date. Hopefully it's years down the road. But how would you like Amanda's dash remembered?
Oh, I think probably the title of my book sums it up: Divine, Messy Human. We are all divine. We are all messy as hell. And that's what makes us human and wonderful and gives us the experience we're having here.
And you're like using a sports metaphor, like you're going to slide across home plate or cricket plate or whatever the sport is there, bumped and bruised, but you're going to know that you've really planted trees you're never going to sit in the shade of because you cared enough.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. So what do you think people misunderstand the most about Amanda?
I actually, because I'm quite tall, I often get told that I'm intimidating. And I don't
How tall are you?
Could be any further from the truth. I am 179 centimeters, which I think is just under 5'11".
Wow, that is tall. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I used to wear high heels all the time as well. So that would
you'd be taller than me then.
I'd be
I'm 6'1" and a half. So
yeah.
I love it. That's cool.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same thing because, I'm 6'1", I'm 260, and I'm pretty well put together. And so when I walk in a room, I'm the guy that's like hugs and stuff because I don't want to come across as that bully. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Plus, I'm from the Midwestern part of the United States where everyone's really nice. They hold the door, they give hugs. And I guess that's really helped me out a little bit. But anything keep you up at night now?
Oh, look, my first thing to go when anything happens is I get insomnia. That's still my telltale that something's not quite right.
What do you
So
do then?
that's always going to be it. What do I do then? I pretend to sleep. I know that sounds really, really crazy, but I've
No.
had years of practicing pretend to sleep because if I pretend to sleep, maybe I'll actually fall into sleep at some point. So it used to be that I'd open my eyes every 3 seconds and look at the
Yeah.
clock and what time is it. But
Yeah.
now I just lay there with my eyes closed and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, just got to wait till morning and keep
You,
going.
you and I are like brother and sister from different mistas because we've walked a lot of the same path, but I'm the same way with
Yeah.
my sleep. And I found out I wear this Aura ring, right, that tracks your sleep.
Yeah.
And even when I can't sleep, even if I pretend to sleep, I almost put myself into a REM state,
Yeah.
an alpha state, maybe. I guess that would be what it's called, or beta, one of the two. And I'll look
Yeah.
at the ring and I'm like, hey, I did get some rest. I just didn't
Yeah.
get the deep, deep rest. Now, I love that
Yeah.
you said that. And again, that's super transparent. So how about what purchase have you made that's $100 or less in the past year that's really leveled you up?
Goodness. For me, I'm always buying books.
Well, beautiful. Beautiful. You can buy 10 books for
Always.
$100. So no,
I know,
that's beautiful.
I know.
Awesome. I love
Yeah, look, I'm always reading and trying to learn the new things
you
and
too.
yeah,
If you
love
saw
it.
my place right now, it's stacks. Although I love to hold a book too. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
Kindle, I love to do the Kindle, but I love holding a book as well. So what is Amanda's definition of a life well lived?
For me, it is learning to trust that intuition and acting on it and remembering that your life isn't supposed to look like everybody else's because it's yours.
Yes. Love it. I love it. I love it. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Amanda, you and I, hopefully we can break some bread sometime live, but and if we do, we'll talk about each one of these questions, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. But with our leveling up
Perfect.
lightning
Yep.
round, you got 5 seconds with no explanations.
All right.
They can all be answered that way. I promise you. You ready to
Cool.
level up?
Let's give it a go.
All right. Give it a go. I love that. I love it. What is the best leveling up advice Amanda's ever received?
Trust your gut.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Breathing.
No, I love it. I love it. Thank
Conscious breathing.
you. No. I do psychedelic breathing every morning. I get it. I love it. So other than your own website, which is amandakate.com or .com.au, what other website might you go to level up?
I love a bit of YouTube.
There you go.
I follow a few astrologers and energy workers there. So yeah,
Beautiful.
Can't go past it.
Beautiful. You see me walking down the street and you're just like, yeah, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. Outside of Divine Messy Human, what book might you hand me or gift to me to level me up?
I do love Dare to Lead, Brené Brown's book on daring leadership. Freaking amazing.
Yes, love it.
Also, either The Alchemist
Paulo,
or
love it.
Yeah, I love The Alchemist, and I can see the other one, and I can't remember the name of it right
That's okay.
now.
We'll circle
Khalil
back.
Gibran, The Prophet. The Prophet.
Beautiful.
That's the one.
Beautiful. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
The little smiley face with the little blushy cheeks.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
My partner just found this out the other day because my parents were over and Mum called me Kit and Kate. And he went, I didn't know about that one.
Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly.
Thank you. Awesome. Go-to ice cream flavor.
I have to have dairy-free ice cream now. And I just had this amazing salted caramel one, which was
Yay!
so good.
Awesome. There's a sandwich called the Kitten Kate. What is on that sandwich?
Well, it has to be gluten-free bread because of my delightful issues. Sure. I would chuck it full of salad and a bit of chicken and some dairy-free pesto and get some nice flavor going.
Sounds good.
Probably a bit of chili in there too. I like a bit of heat.
Love it. Favorite charity and organization like to give your time or money to?
The ones that I tend to go to are the Beyond Blues Lifeline over here, which are depression helplines.
Love it. Love it. Last question, and you can elaborate on this one, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Am I allowed to say all?
You can say all. Yeah, I guess. Sure.
I did. Do you know, when I was growing up, my parents had those like 4 CD sets of the best music from the 60s, 70s.
Great.
They didn't get the 80s and 90s, but so I used to listen to a lot of the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was in my sort of clubbing days, we always used to go to one which was all the retro music, which was the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we'd go and dance to that. But then I do like the 90s and on. So
beautiful. I love it. I love all music. I'm 50 years old, so like when I graduated in 1990, so like the 80s is kind of my jam. But I love all music. I love it. So Amanda, how can we find you?
The website you mentioned before, amandakate.com.au, so remembering the .au for Australia. And I'm on all the socials. I think they're all linked from my website.
Absolutely.
So that's probably the easiest way to go to find me. So you've only got to remember the one.
Yeah. And everything will be in the show notes out there, squad. They'll be able to find Amanda. But Amanda, talk to me a little bit about Divine Messy and what brought you to write it and who would be the perfect reader for it.
For me, it was the book that I needed when I was navigating this. So it does get a bit deep and esoteric, but it's also high level enough that if you're new to sort of the spirituality aspect, you're not going to feel lost in it. And I've written it in tiny sort of short chunk chapters.
Yeah.
So people have been telling me it's great because they can kind of pick it up, put it down and not feel like oh God, another self-help book. And a lot of people have been telling me there's a lot of actionable stuff in there that are giving them some really good realizations. So yeah, it's just, there've been people who've picked it up who've been on the spiritual journey for ages and are like, oh my God, I love the way you phrase it. And people who are just reaching out. So there isn't really just, I guess, one group. It's pick it up and see how you go with it.
I love it. I can't wait to dig into it myself. And squad, I'm going to do a free book giveaway on Time to Shine Today's Dime. The first person that says I am messy inside any of our social, I don't care if it's Pinterest, I don't care if you text it to us, email it to us, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're going to see Amanda's show. If you leave I am messy, the first person, actually the first 2 people that do that, I will personally buy them a book and have it shipped to you. And Amanda, if you could pretty please leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
You always know your truth. And as soon as you ask yourself that deep question, you actually know the answer. So if we ask, do I need to leave this relationship? Guess what? You actually already know the answer to that. You just don't want to answer it. Or, oh, gee, I'm not that happy in my job. Again, you know the answer. It's your body telling you because that's why the questions come in. And we so often ignore that and we don't take action. Take action because magic happens.
Lovely. That's exactly true. And squad, I had a super informational conversation where I just picked up so many knowledge nuggets. And you guys just really had a free masterclass with my good friend Amanda, who, she was a people pleaser growing up. That was her thing, her identity. But it also made her live a restricted life that led her to toxic relationships, took out her toll on health and life. And she goes to the doctor and the doctor's like, dude, you are the healthiest sick person I've ever seen. and nobody really knew how to really fix her, but she found kinesiology, that movement of energy, the impulses and emotional resonates of what is stuck, helps get that unstuck. She wants you to really kind of understand of what got you to where you are and hit that low and find yourself the help. Hopefully it's Amanda, develop a plan to get out of that rock bottom and build awareness with the tools that she's going to give you. And she would tell her younger self to really listen to that intuition, what they are saying. If you don't understand it, find somebody, again, get your asking gear, find it. The answers are out there and people are willing to give it to you. And she says that coaching and kinesiology alone will not get you to where you want to go. They might get there, but she reminds us, and this is what I love about her, is that there's other modalities, other places that you can go to really unlock what is stuck in your body. And that's what I love about a coach like Amanda, who doesn't have all the answers, and she admits it, and she's going to refer you to people just like I do, and she will be remembered as someone that's divine, human, and messy. She wants you to be your own self, be authentic, and like her, very, very transparent. Don't be afraid to share your story in the world. There's people that want to hear it. She wrote a book that she wished she really would have read back in the day. And if she's went through what she's went through, she can help you get through what you're going through. And you always know your truth. And as soon as you ask yourself the deep question about it, you will know the answer. And that's what my good friend Amanda Kate does probably on a daily basis. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She's humble. Yes, she's hungry. She's absolutely stunning. You've earned your varsity letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on. Absolutely love your guts, Amanda.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for the work you're bringing into the world. You are so needed. So huge appreciation and love back to you.
You bet. Chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.